Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back one more time to Holy Plot. This is still Liam, it's still Jacob, it's still James, and we are still talking about Scavengers. If you notice, our clothes haven't changed. It's been, let's say this night it's been a plot-heavy night, okay? That being said, Scavengers Reign has ended. If you would like to hear our thoughts about any of the episodes or the season in total, all those videos are out on the channel. This is not where you're going to find that.
We loved it.
We did love it. Spoiler alert.
Loved it. 10 out of
10. This video is not that. This video is all about our thoughts on the cliffhanger ending and what we want for a possible, unconfirmed, but likely season 2. Jacob, take it away.
Yeah, so I will just recant what I said in one of the previous videos, which is that going into this, I really thought this was a one-season ordeal. I thought this was a limited season, but it's not the case, potentially. So there has not been a greenlit season 2 as of November. But in October, they talked about that they've mapped it out, that essentially viewership is a massive factor in it possibly happening, and that they've thought through it pretty hard. And that is definitely evident. Let's go watch it. Let them know what you think about it. That is definitely evident in the end of this. And a show that is incredibly unpredictable and just very spontaneous. I somehow was surprised by the ending. It is a complete left field curveball, just totally out there. And I've never seen something, except for like a couple shows, which are also in animation, throw like a really insane curveball like that, where it just completely brings in a new idea. It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we by the end of it were like, don't end. We could. Yeah. I think Jacob, you said like I could watch an entire season just about these guys. So I think to break it down for the insane psychos in chat who have somehow not seen Scavengers Reign and clicked on this video, at the very end we see the escape shuttle that what's her face Scavenger lady.
I remember.
Whatever.
Let's call her blonde asshole.
Blonde asshole is in. Are we past the demonetization level?
It doesn't even matter. We're not.
I don't even care. It's like 5 a.m. She's in like the escape shuttle from the Demeter, and it's clearly been some amount of time.
She's like dehydrated. It's been a couple months.
Nature has kind of reclaimed the shuttle, and then you see this gigantic. It really reminded me of something out of like Warhammer 40K. If you're familiar.
It reminded me of Halo a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like a medieval gothic gigantic spaceship. It has like a rose stained glass window, like something on a gothic cathedral on it. It shows the guy and they're swinging around a censer of incense.
It's very almost like kind of feels like something out of BioShock. Like it's this very high reality, high fantasy concept. It's really cool.
And they get found by the Space Inquisition.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as a practicing Catholic, I popped off. So they get the shuttle that the blonde asshole is in, and they get in and they see one of the little Levi plant reproduced creatures, and that's it. It ends. But that confirms that there are presumably, I'm not sure how far into the future this is in. The crew of the Demeter was very recognizably just like near future humanity.
Yeah,
these
they were like interstellar levels of sci-fi.
These guys, that's like a whole different deal. So I wonder if this is maybe like a Dune scenario where humans are so far flung and crazy that they might as well be aliens.
I have a theory.
It's hard to predict this show.
I have a theory. Mm-hmm. I think this is a relativity situation.
I was about to say that.
The characters on the planet got interstellared. They were on this planet for a stretch of amount of time that was probably like 2,000 years on Earth. And society is just, they got left in the dust. And the moment they get out of this bubble that they're in, which is this planet, they've basically reset to primitive levels of society. There's this massive world out there that's very advanced outside of them.
I think that relativity would be very ripe for this show to play around with and do some really cool things. And I think the idea that, well, this whole group of characters that we've gotten to know, or whoever's still alive, that they've gotten used to life on this planet and they're okay. Maybe they have a little bit of hope that they're holding out, that maybe they'll be rescued. Then they find out that humanity that they knew is just completely gone. And I think that it'd be very interesting to see this group, these space like Inquisition people, how do they conflict? Because I'm sure they won't get along.
Oh, yeah.
I think it'd be very cool to see in what way do they clash.
I think that'd get into some, whereas the first season was very environmental, that would get into some more like human nature stuff. You know, about
I was about to.
Go ahead.
I was about to say that I think it'll be very interesting to see, like a very hyper religious reaction to this planet, because all of the. Because like the use, like the rose stained glass window, the use of incense from a censer, it's very like the robes, everything. It's very clearly evocative of religion, and that's if I know anything about these animators, is that they're purposeful in like everything that they do.
The details and designs are very purposeful.
So like season 1, we're seeing the reaction to this world by a group of people who are very much like scientifically oriented, like almost like the dudes from Starfield, like what are they called, Constellation?
Yeah, they're scientific is the perfect way of putting it. They feel like explorers. They feel like researchers.
So what if we have, instead of like researchers going to Antarctica, what if instead we have like Spanish conquistadors going to the New World, you know?
Yeah, it would be like, instead of scientific discovery, it'd be like religious discovery. You'd have like the concept of manifest destiny in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That could be an incredibly powerful message to follow up after the first season dealt so much with the harmony of nature and how much nature on this planet in particular is so relentless with its response. I think it would be very cool to see like basically like colonization practices that have been in history like put up against this world and what it would do to it.
Yeah, and this isn't quite as clear cut. We've done season 2 videos before. Usually it's more of a list of predictions. Right now we're more so just addressing this one big cliffhanger. And I think that when you have a religious group that's coming to a planet, that there's 2 ways they could go about it. You know, like with environmentalism, is they could actually not be, you know, wanting to come chop down the trees and set up their camps and everything. They may not come in with an adversarial role. What if the nature of this world actually adds to their like religious fervor? What if they see this world as kind of like divinely laid out to use its creatures and its systems as a tool for something?
Yeah, and for sure.
I think either way, if they either come, whether it be to destroy or to manipulate, I think that some really cool drama is to take our surviving main characters, and they are now defending this world because we see them in a time jump, even in the first season, but in the second too, they've come to adapt.
I could totally go for like a new cast of characters. I really could.
I could too.
Yeah. Instead of like a bunch of years in the future, like we see their descendants. I mean, if you look at the last scene, not the last scene, but one of the last scenes between Levi, excuse me, and the kitty cat, which is, if you don't know somehow by now, it's like the big caiman monster that carries him around.
It looks like a cat.
It did at one point, anyway. I guess it does now as it reverted. Anyway, it comes in contact with like the flower connected soul, if you will, of the planet, which is almost like godlike, where it's seemingly omnipotent on this planet and all interconnected and interspersed with everything. So my hope is that the creatives behind Scavengers Reign handle a religious view of the planet with the same tact and care that they did the environmental view.
I think they really will.
I think I have faith in them because they handled. We talked a little bit in other videos about like the addictive and abusive connotations of Cayman's arc and the maturity of like facing life and death that they did with characters like Sam. I would, as a religious person myself, I would love to see religion in response to this planet handled just as tactfully. So that's, I just think a lot of times you see in science fiction, you see in depth like the scientific reaction to sci-fi. I mean, it's in the name, sci-fi, but what you really don't get, what sets stuff like, I'll go back to Warhammer, apart, or even something like Halo with the Covenant, you have like space religions and what that can mean for peoples and planets. If they can take something that is, like we said it last video, so often in sci-fi stuff that's environmentally tinged, it's just technology bad, nature good, mazel tov, we're done here. Whereas Scavengers Reign, the strength of it lies in presenting questions of what if they were symbiotic, what if they could grow together. And I hope they explore religion in a similar theme. I really do. Because it's easy in sci-fi, again, like something like The Covenant, or frankly Warhammer, where you just have like, yeah, religion bad, next, science good. When even in real life, we see that like there can be a beautiful intertwining of them, which betters them both. So
I think that's like a big.
That's what I'd like to see the most.
It's just a big theme of the show is how things blend together.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think that they would go as far as to explore nature and civilization without thinking about that. Just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So they've thought it through. And the beautiful thing about the show is that we could be completely wrong. I honestly can say that. No slight to any of these shows, but when I'm predicting My Adventures Superman Season 2, I know where it's going. But this show is just...
It could literally be anything, yeah.
Regardless, please, let's hope it happens, and I'm sure it'll be good if it does.
Go
watch Season 1. It's 10 out of 10. Well.
James, anything?
Nothing else for me. I have a good feeling they'll knock it out of the park. Can't wait to watch it.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Holy Plot really likes Scavengers Reign, but we've milked it about all we can with respect for the environment. We don't want to overindulge. So that being said, we hope that you tune in to the next series we cover. Right now we're doing Invincible. Thank you very, very much for your support of our watching of it and your tuning in to our reviews. It really means the most. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you around. Maybe don't cut down that tree in your backyard. Maybe sit in it a while. Now get out of here. I'm sick of you. I've been talking to you all night. I'm going to bed, man. Screw this. I'm done.